From the banks of the Nile to modern city clinics, few practices in human history have shown such disturbing continuity as female genital cutting in Egypt. It is a subject wrapped in silence, taboo, and controversy, often misunderstood as an ancient relic, yet painfully present in the modern world. To understand how this practice survived for millennia, we must follow its long and uncomfortable journey from the age of the pharaohs to the present day. The earliest references to female genital cutting in Egypt are frustratingly indirect. No surviving ancient Egyptian medical papyrus explicitly instructs the procedure in clear terms, yet classical writers, archaeology, and later medical commentary strongly suggest that some form of genital modification existed in pharaonic times. The Greek historian Herodotus, writing in the 5th century BCE, noted that Egyptians practiced circumcision and implied it applied to both sexes. Later, Roman authors, including Strabo and Galen, described customs in Egypt involving the cutting of female genitalia, often associating the practice with ideas of cleanliness, modesty, or social control. Archaeological evidence complicates the picture. Some mummified remains show signs consistent with genital alteration, though scholars caution against overinterpretation due to damage caused by mummification itself. Still, the weight of classical testimony suggests that forms of female genital cutting existed in ancient Egypt long before Islam or Christianity arrived. Importantly, this places the practice not in a single religious tradition, but within broader systems of social hierarchy, sexuality, and control over women's bodies. In ancient Egyptian society, sexuality was paradoxical. Erotic art and fertility cults flourished, yet female sexuality was also something to be regulated. Marriage contracts emphasized fidelity. Female honor was bound tightly to family reputation. Cutting was likely framed as a way to control desire, reduce perceived promiscuity, and ensure marriageability. In elite households especially, virginity and obedience carried enormous social weight. As Egypt passed through Hellenistic, Roman, and Byzantine rule, the practice did not disappear. Instead, it adapted. Medical writers in Alexandria discussed female genital cutting as a corrective procedure, sometimes recommending it for what they described as excessive desire or abnormal anatomy. This medicalization is crucial. By framing the act as treatment rather than punishment, the practice embedded itself more deeply into accepted norms. With the Arab conquest of Egypt in the 7th century, new religious and legal frameworks arrived, but female genital cutting persisted. Contrary to widespread belief, the practice is not mandated in the Quran. Early Islamic jurists debated it, with opinions ranging from discouragement to conditional acceptance. In Egypt, local custom proved stronger than theology. Over time, the practice became falsely associated with religious duty, even though it predated Islam by centuries. During the medieval period, female genital cutting became increasingly linked to ideas of honor, chastity, and family control. Girls were often cut before puberty, sometimes as young as 6 or 7. The event marked a transition, not into adulthood, but into social obedience. It was frequently accompanied by celebration, gifts, and ritual, masking the physical trauma beneath layers of communal approval. European travelers in Ottoman-era Egypt wrote with shock about the practice. Some described it in graphic terms. Others used it as a tool of colonial judgment, portraying Egyptian society as barbaric or backward. These accounts, while often biased, provide confirmation that the practice was widespread across social classes in both Muslim and Christian communities. It was not confined to rural villages. It existed in cities like Cairo and Alexandria as well. The 19th century brought new scrutiny. As Western medicine expanded its influence in Egypt, some doctors condemned female genital cutting as dangerous and unnecessary. Others, disturbingly, defended it using pseudoscientific reasoning, arguing it prevented hysteria, insanity, or immoral behavior. Once again, the female body became a battlefield for male authority, this time cloaked in modern science. By the early 20th century, Egyptian reformers began speaking out. Intellectuals, feminists, and physicians questioned the practice publicly. Figures like Qasim Amin criticized it as harmful, and incompatible with national progress. Yet resistance was fierce. Many families viewed abandonment as a betrayal of tradition and morality. The practice endured not because people were ignorant of harm, but because social pressure was overwhelming. The modern Egyptian state attempted reform through law. In 1959, the government restricted the procedure to hospitals. This backfired, legitimizing it as a medical act. By the late 20th century, female genital cutting remained widespread, performed by doctors, midwives, and traditional practitioners alike. Complications were common: hemorrhage, infection, infertility, childbirth trauma, and psychological damage that followed women for life. Tragedy finally forced change. High-profile deaths of young girls in the 1990s and 2000s sparked national outrage. In 2008, Egypt officially banned female genital cutting, criminalizing both practitioners and parents who allowed it. Penalties were strengthened in later years, especially after cases where doctors continued the practice in secret clinics. Yet banning a practice does not erase it. Despite legal reforms, Egypt still has one of the highest rates of female genital cutting in the world. Surveys show a gradual decline among younger generations, but millions of women alive today have undergone the procedure. Many mothers who oppose it still submit their daughters to it, fearing social exclusion or reduced marriage prospects. What makes the Egyptian case especially haunting is its historical depth. This is not a recent tradition easily undone. It is a practice reinforced by centuries of repetition, rebranded by religion, medicine, and honor codes at different points in time. Each era gave it a new justification, but the result remained the same: control over female sexuality through pain and permanence. Today, activists in Egypt, many of them women who survived the practice themselves, are rewriting that history. Religious leaders increasingly clarify that female genital cutting is not an Islamic obligation. Doctors speak openly about its harms. Schools educate girls and boys alike. Change is slow, uneven, and fragile, but real. Looking across 4,000 years of Egyptian history, one uncomfortable truth stands out. Female genital cutting did not survive because it was ancient. It survived because societies repeatedly chose control over compassion, tradition over evidence, silence over suffering. History does not absolve the practice, it explains it. And perhaps understanding how deeply rooted it is, from pharaohs to the present, offers the clearest warning of all: that harmful traditions do not fade on their own. They end only when people decide that history is no longer an excuse,